matched by multiple cars, as I mentioned earlier on. So Nurov in a very precarious situation, but he often finds himself in these places. Doesn't qualify as well as he races.
Up front, they are getting with Lee Aberdeen and Luca Varani, not very far apart at all here. But I just want to see how Alistair Haight deals with Marcello Kessler coming around the old hairpin.
Say it's not the best decision they've ever made, just not having done that under the safety car, really.
Yeah, they're taking their pit stop strategies from Ferrari lately or something. What's going on?
In turn one, just too much gas on them, too much feet on the loud pedal, and approach is dropped to all the way down the order. But Phillip Hammer is out in front by an 8.91 seconds. Dan Michael is a wall there, sir. And it definitely doesn't want to be hitting that earlier on as well.
Difficult, the understeer is in the dirty air through that final corner because it's such a long corner and you get dragged off into the grass very easily. He'll have the slipstream down towards the chicane. Peterson was briefly alongside, but that slipstream has saved him and kept him in third.
Yeah, Varani now lost a little bit of time to Aberdeen, about half a second. Peterson is Pike's pushed Morton forward up ahead. He's got out of line. It's now Pike could have a go at Werrell. Don't push him off. He's in the championship fight. Jack Werrell chasing down Carl Jacklin. Further down, Rob Williams and Chris Barnes.
Sensational run outside line now though for the heavy braking zone. Around the outside goes the Audi R8.
Look how much Miller's come back into play. Exactly. Miller's still such up. He's left on second and change. All of a sudden Miller's back in play.
On to the back end of Phil Jocelyn. So there's been a lot of movers and shakers in this first 2 laps here for race.
Absolutely serious racing league. Everybody's a lot of fun. Yeah, and it's all about the entertainment. So I hope everybody is enjoying themselves out there in the chat. We know that Ron is been enjoying himself watching the Burger King machines off into the grass a little bit there as they're really bunching up now.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the Radical Race Series Round 10, Season 3 of Phillip Island. I'm James Parfitt, going to be joined in the booth by Tom Cairns here this evening. And, well, it's going to be a very interesting one. Phillip Island, 4.41 kilometres in length. 1956, the track was made, and over the last period of time, it has not changed length. Since about 1988 was the last time it was out at 4 miles. The 204 to date circuit is only 2.765 miles or 4.45 kilometers. Very interesting circuit as well. Fast flow in turn 1, quite a hard braking zone for turn 2, flowing all the way around into Honda, and then we know after that with the rest of the course we've got Siberia, turn 7, Hayshed, Lukey Heights, MG, and then that straight run from turn 11 through turn 12 down the Gardner Straight. Let's have a look at the Stagors and the Doors after last week, of course, where it was a very interesting run at Road America. The flip-flopping between Simon Edwards and James Barry continues. Simon's on 3:03 with James Barry on 3:02. Luke Maxwell is on 2:62. He's not going to be here tonight. He's practicing for Le Mans this weekend in the LMP2, so good luck with him. George Gonzaga on 2:26 and Paul Clark on 2:19. John McCutcheon on 2:17. Then you got Jamie Bird in 7th on 1:98. Damien G on 1:91. Unfortunately, we're not going to have Damien this week either. He is away with kids, so have a good time, Damien G, and much love to you. Phil Glover in 9th for Seth Brown. Seth is also another absentee. He's on holiday, so no Seth Brown either. Michael LeMay, David Beasley, Graham Brown, Paul LeMay, Martina Ward, Paul Crabb, Colin Wynn and Joseph Emmett on the points table down to scoring 18th point. Then you got Phil Jocelyn. That's not correct for Mike Bousson. Mike is on 2:22, not just 22. So Mike Bousson is on 2:22, and he is been put in miscorrecting, and let's send that for again. He should Mike shoot to the top of the championship, or near the top of the championship. But it's going to be very interesting this week as well. Let's bring Tom in and have a chat with Tom and see what he can tell us about Phillip Island.
Hello, James. Hello, everyone. Yes, Phillip Island, the home of the Australian MotoGP events. And it's a brilliant track with a lot of flow to it. It's an anti-clockwise circuit, 4.4 kilometers long. The drivers like it, actually. I think they like the nature of this track, especially close to the sea that is near to the track here at Phillip Island. It's a lovely, gorgeous view, it has to be said. And we're closing in at the end of practice. Simon Edwards, who missed last week at Road America, is back this evening. But as you've rightly mentioned, the likes of Luke Maxwell, Seth Brown and Damien G not here, which is a bit of a shame, but it's for understandable reasons, given that we are in the month of August. It's usually the summer holidays, and some people do have families of which they want to spend time with. As for here, we are in for some commentary on the action here in the latest round of the Radical Race Series. And you could just see Simon Edwards just practicing his pit entries there and got it all horribly wrong.
Yeah, he did. He got it wrong quite drastically. Coming into the pit lane there, he does end up going on the grass, then he locks up, and then he hits the corner of the barrier, and unfortunately pops off his neck. Simon Edwards there, a bit short of a nose cone. Well, we're going to be going into practice it very, very shortly. Not sure if John McCutcheon's going to jump in like he normally does right at the end, but we have got the likes of Simon Edwards, Paul LeMay, George Gonzaga, James Barry, Paul Clark, Michael LeMay, Mike Bousson, Phil Glover, Colin Wynn is back with us again this week. Great to see, and James Barry. So James Barry and Simon Edwards, very fighting for the lead in the championship. They've been backwards and forwards quite a lot this season already, swapping places, who's going to be top, who's going to be second. You know, they've got an 11-lap sprint race, an 18-lap feature with a top 10 reverse here. So there's going to be a lot going on once more on this race circuit, and it isn't the longest of the race circuit.
No, definitely not. And if you look at the championship as well, in regards to how it works, they do 12 rounds across the season, and they apply the driver's best 8 combined scores for each round, if that makes sense. So you could get a win in one race and then not do very well in the other, which could end up being one of your worst scores. Whereas in another round, you could get a second and a third, and that could go towards your final championship score. So they take the 4 worst scores for each driver off, and that does include absent rounds. Simon Edwards has missed a couple of rounds, and the 2 worst scores of 53 points he had picked up at Alton Park And at another round, it was round 6, where he picked up the same score. Road Atlanta, he picked up 53 points there as well. So Simon Edwards' target for this round, if he was to improve his score, he's got to do better than 55 points.
Okay. Well, we will find out if he can do that. Good evening, Leo. Welcome into chat here as these guys start their flying laps in quali. Simon Edwards over the line first. 128.018 for Simon Edwards. Paul LeMay in second on a 129.405. So time's coming in thick and fast. Edwards setting the pace already. A second, 1.3 seconds.
So Simon Edwards just setting the pace. This is not representative by any means. We saw times in the 123s just as we were going on air. So we expect those times to come down in the near future. But there is something lovely about this place, particularly corners like Honda and Siberia. And, of course, the Dewan corner. I mean, who can not like the Dewan corner, the first right-hander of this course?
Yeah, it's turn 1. It's fast flowing. So if turn 1, you know, there's a lot that can go wrong in that corner. We've seen people go wide. I've seen people go off the circuit. There's a lot that can happen in turn 1, and generally if you're on the outside you could be in a little bit of trouble as you approach into the southern loop, which of course is turn 2. Down into MG with Simon Edwards before he starts to run out of turn 11 and turn 12. It's one of them ones that is kind of all flat all the way around, and we'll take you on a tour of this wonderful circuit on the roll bar of Simon Edwards. So we're going to go down into over the line right about now. We are then going to start our approach down into turn 1. We're full flat at this moment in time, topping nearly on 167, 68 miles an hour. Little hold, lift on the throttle, get it round into the corner. We're going to be looking again, tightening up turn 2 as best we possibly can, down into 4th gear at the moment. Then on the exit, we're going to get that run nice and smooth through Stoner Corner, down into Honda. Again, no lifting, straight through here. Then we're going to be looking for our braking marker on the left-hand side. There it is. At the Honda Brawl, get it on the brakes, get it through the gears. Simon Edwards down into second. He probably wants to be a little bit tighter there if he can. Now we start this run up through Siberia. The left hand, a slight little lift, get it round the corner, down into third we go. Now we're chasing up through turn 7 and then up through the Haitian, which is right-hander here. You can kind of just lift it and point it and shoot, which is what Simon Edwards does do. Now we're going to go into the very tricky Lukey Heights left-hander, uphill, turning, blind A, but he can't see nothing at the top of the hill, and then round the right-hander through MG. And now we're going to go all the way round from turn 11 again, which is again this full flat run straight round the last parts of the circuit, through turn 11, through turn 12, keeping it pinned, keeping it tight, maybe a slight little lift for some, and now we're off again all the way down over the line. What Simon Edwards going to do here, he's going to be going over the line very, very shortly. We did a 123.6, 123.8, not an improvement. Paul Clark, however, is looking to improve. He does. He puts himself up into third place. Mike Bousson is another one who's going to have his first lap time, hopefully on the board this time around as he goes around the final corner. Over the line goes Michael LeMay, in front, and Mike Bousson over the line. Does he get a time on the board? He does, 124. What about James Barry? Time's coming in thick and fast now, Tom.
Yes, absolutely. And Simon Edwards and James Barry both have a championship each in this Radical Race Series in 2024, hence why it's the 3rd season, and they're looking to get the upper hand on each other. James Barry going to the top with 126.6, and about 700s clear over his rival for the title. Paul LeMay 3rd ahead of Gongaza, and then we've got Paul Clark, Michael LeMay, and it's Bousson, Bird, Glover, and Wynn. The rest of those in the 10-car field. Hopefully Matt Hodgson will be in to get a lap in before this session is over. So Simon Edwards, I don't know if he's taken most of the life out of the tyres. We'll see if he actually does improve this time around. And I think because it's a shorter course, you get more chances to improve your time. So we'll see how he gets on with his latest lap here. Don't forget it is an improvement on before, and so he stays in second place.
Yeah, there's a couple of people coming over the line now. Paul Clark coming over in 5th. What about Colin Wynn? What is he going to be able to do at this circuit? I'm probably going to think this might be one of Colin's first outings at Phillip Island in the SR10. I haven't really seen him much about in the SR10 at the moment. It might well be on a 126.130. Michael LeMay, Mike Bousson, the man from Froome, of course, in Somerset in a tractor. George Gonzaga going to be coming over the line very, very shortly. James Barry's teammate. Is he going to make an improvement? It looks like he's got greens across the board. How high is he going to go? 123.841 for George. So great job from him. What about good old Phil Glover as he's coming around the final corner and coming over the line now? Paul Clark is the only one out of the next 4 out on the race circuit to actually make an improvement. Phil, 125.429. So we'll have to see how he will get on for the rest of the session. Paul Clark, however, well, he was making an improvement in Sector 1. Now, unfortunately, yellow in Sector 2.
So we're just running through the point system because the point system for both sprint and feature races will be different to each other. 25 points for a win in the sprints, and it's 22 for second, 20 for third, and so on. And for the feature, there's 40 points for a win, and then 35 for second, and 31 for third. And there's obviously bonus points for the driver finishes a race without incurring any incident points. So that could come into play. That could determine even the championship at the end of the campaign.
Yeah, it does. All of these bonus points are vitally important. You've been given an option to be able to pick up bonus points, and you want to make sure that you can collect them. You know, if they're there to get, you want to make sure they get them because they are technically free points as you come, you know, over the line. It's just common sense that you would want to make sure that you can get them bonus points. So we'll have to keep an eye and see how some of these are going and whether or not they're going to get them. Unfortunately, we don't have access to incidents and accidents on points. We can only tell you what the off-track situation is. That's without, obviously, car contact and spins. So it's a little bit more difficult for us to monitor off-tracks up here in the booth at this moment in time. I feel that's the one thing that may not get any improvements on that. But minute 50, everybody should probably get one more lap in, including a man coming over in 8th place, which is Jamie Bird. He's sitting in 8th, 125.299. Quite a big spread of time between the top and the bottom.
Yeah, so that tells you about the experience each of these drivers have done and why the likes of James Barry and Simon Edwards have won this championship before, because they know the cars' behaviour around a lot of these circuits. They know how to apply the throttle when coming out of corners. They know when to brake. And the amount of mechanical grip it has, it's about recognising it and understanding it.
Yeah, I think that's the thing. This car is not easy. Massive difference from the SR8. So I think at the end of the day, it's been taking time and taking practice, and that's what these guys have got to do. Bill Glover improving in sectors 1. He's coming up through Lukey Heights down into MG, the left-hander at this moment in time. He's going to be hard on the brakes, getting it round the right-hander, and then he'll have that run down through turn 11, turn 12. No improvement in the middle, unfortunately, for Phil. Some people back in the pit lane already as we're into the last 40 seconds of qualifying here. And at this moment in time, it's looking like James Barry's going to take pole on a 123.612. Phil Glover, is he going to make an improvement? He jumps Jamie Bird, but Jamie Bird is out on the race circuit. Is he going to make an improvement? Keeping it to the, I'd be surprised, keep it to the right hand side. Going to be the shortest route down there. Jamie comes over the line at a trickle on a 126.042, and then Colin Wynn also back in the pit lane. We've got 10 seconds till the end of qualifying. James Barry on pole position by the looks of it.
Yeah, absolutely so. I'm just reading through the Radical Race Series site about the drop scores rule, and it's saying that it's the top 9 scores they get applied, not the top 8. So we'll have to see how it goes on, but I'll let you run down on the grid for the sprint race that is coming up, James.
Yeah, James Barry in pole position with Simon Edwards second, Paul LeMay in third, George Gonzaga in fourth, Paul Clark in fifth, Michael LeMay in sixth, then Mike Bousson seventh, Phil Glover eighth, Jamie Bird ninth, and Colin Wynn rounding out the grid. I can tell you now it's 3 drop weeks, so it will be the top 9 scores that will be taken into consideration. So let's get these guys onto the grid, get them ready to go. Simon Edwards is there. Where's James Barry? Fashionably late here. There is Paul LeMay. Pulled one more. Where is our pole man? That would be nice. We can have our Poleman on, ready to go. There he is. Right, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, let's get this up and running. Round 10 will be 4-5, and it's green here, and it is literally James Barry getting it off the line alongside Simon Edwards. Edwards is going to be on the outside for turn 1. Barry covers him off now. Into the right hander we go. It's still Mr. Barry. Edwards is still sitting in behind him. Paul LeMay, Gonzaga's there as well. Michael LeMay must have had a bad one as he's down 4 places right to start. Phil Glover taking Colin Wynn round the outside of Southern Loop there. And Phil making his way forward and up a position. Great start from all of these guys. No real dramas for everyone. Probably the biggest drama was Michael LeMay losing 4 spots at the beginning.
No, but it's far from over. You can just see Phil having to slam on the brakes there. And Wynn has gone straight on at the Honda corner. And he'll fall to the back of the pack from there.
Yeah, he's going to try and fight his way through, I'm sure. James Barry out in front. And with Simon Edwards, Paul LeMay in third, Gonzaga fourth. Clark has got Boost on for company. Edwards is tucked up behind Barry. It's going to be down into MG for the very first time. Downhill braking, on the brakes they go. Edwards, no real challenge on the inside. Barry still leading away. He's going to come left around turn 11. Now he's going to come through turn 12. It's going to be that fast run again. Now this is where I expect the draft to play strong here, Tom. I think this could be quite... Oh, maybe not that way. Maybe not that way.
No, you don't want to be on the grass there, and Simon Edwards will be under attack from Paul LeMay in a moment. So they're going over the line so far, and it's a relatively clean start, although Colin Wynn is continuing to have his own melodies. He's nearly half a minute off the next car ahead of him, which is Phil Glover. And we have just seen LeMay and Glover going into the battle. We are seeing Colin Wynn go straight on at Honda, and he did rejoin the track, but then they had another spin further on the road. There we go, look. Yeah,
that's 2. And then Gonzaga was off side of the circuit here as well. He's just come back, so it was picked up that he was off the side of the circuit. Edwards and Barry nose to tail through the left-hander of Siberia, up through turn 7 into the hay shed they go. And now we're going to see how they get in through Lukey Heights. This tricky left-hander. Side by side, is it going to work out? It does at this moment in time, but these two gladiators going at it here, and really you can thankfully say no difference in pace because they're going to be very close together.
Yeah, well, they are in identical machines after all, so it's down to the ability of the driver. And you can see Simon Edwards should be within play here. He won't want to run wide like he did so last time around, and he doesn't do so. You can see James Barry having to go defensive. Won't want to change too many times before the corner, and Simon Edwards predictably takes over the leadership of the race here at Phillip Island.
Yeah, he takes over, but for how long? That's going to be the question. Can Edwards keep it till the end of the race? Is Barry going to lay back on him as well? Paul LeMay's going to put him under pressure. Gonzaga's got Clark in the back with Boost on. Bird's got Michael LeMay and Phil Glover. Of course, Colin Wynn just driving around trying to get practice in the car for that feature race. It will be a top 10 reverse, so at this moment in time, Colin Wynn will be on pole. That's going to be very, very interesting and exciting for Paul LeMay, I'm sure, as he'll be sitting on pole position.
Well, he'll just want to try and get some fast laps in and start closing on the guys ahead. And Edwards is leading ahead of Barry, and it's Paul LeMay who is looking to get into the draft of Barry. But the bad news for him is that Barry will have the benefit of the draft from Simon Edwards ahead. So Paul LeMay is going to have to be right on the gearbox of James Barry if he's to have any chance of moving into P2. There are no pit stops involved in this. It is a straight sprint to the flag in both races. So the drivers are just planting their feet on the throttle and just pushing as hard as they can at this moment in time.
Yeah, Barry got a little bit more of a better run than LeMay out of turn 11 and 12. He got a little bit more draft into that turn 1, of course. And these guys are continuing as they are. What is happening down here with Michael LeMay and Jamie Bird? They're going through the left-hander of Southern Loop. Michael LeMay is slowly closing in on Jamie Bird there. Now Phil Glover's going to try and duck underneath him. Phil, the Mr. Aggressive, this evening. He must have had some problems though, unfortunately, because he was up at one point, up a couple of places. He's now down and into ninth place. Michael LeMay side by side takes the inside line, does Michael, and manages to hold on from Phil Glover. Phil Glover looking very racy down the back end. We'll keep an eye on him and see how he gets on that one. Paul LeMay 3 tenths back from James Barry. James Barry 6 tenths back from Simon Edwards, so he's losing a little bit of time.
Paul LeMay just staying in touch with the top 2. And you can see that Simon Edwards is trying to build the gap in the slower corners around the circuit so that Barry doesn't get too close to him. Next time they go on to the pit straight, they're going through turns 11 and 12 now. And Phil Glover's gone back through into 8th position ahead of Michael LeMay. So clearly there is pride at stake between those two. And I wonder if LeMay perhaps made an error.
He did, yes. He made an error, went in too hot, and unfortunately went off side of the circuit, did Michael LeMay. Got it all a little bit to Pete Tong. Paul Clark, boots on, settled in right behind him. And we're going to see how Mike does here. Can he clear Mr. Paul Clark? We know how difficult it is. Paul is not the easiest person to overtake, as they're on their run down through the left-hander, through Stoner Corner, down into Honda at this moment in time, on board with Mike Bousson. Is he going to be able to clear Paul Clark? He's going to try around the outside. Paul's going to be on the inside. Nothing doing there this time around. What about coming out of the corner? Is he going to be able to get out of this corner for Mike Bousson? He's not. He's got to latch back in. He's going to try to cut back again. Not going to work, I don't think, unless he can get up alongside Paul Clark now. Paul's going to have the inside for the next corner. Through the right-hander they go. What about, is he going to get the inside? Oh, Mike just needed to be a little bit braver there, get his nose ahead just a little bit more, and then he might have been able to hold that.
Yeah, well, the momentum had pretty much died there for Mike Bousson, so he was going to have to try and just get back into the draft of Paul Clark in front. And it looks like Bird has gone for a spin earlier on, because he dropped back a couple of positions not too long ago. So hopefully we'll get a replay as to what happened involving him.
Yeah, he's behind. He just goes in too deep there, and unfortunately ends up on the grass and into the gravel for Jamie Bird. So he's down the order ahead of Colin Wynn, but now in 9th place. Front 3 not really making any inroads on each other. I suppose James Barry's getting a little bit closer to Simon Edwards, and Gonzaga's getting a little bit closer to all of this pack at this moment in time here. But these 4 kind of running away with it. Mike and Paul Clark side by side again, and there, Paul's gonna have to recede the inside line. I think. Oh no, he's braver on the brakes than Mike. These two having a right little ding dong down for 5th and 6th.
And Mike Bousson drifting his way out of Siberia for good measure. And that tells you that Paul Clark is not going to be an easy driver to get past. And Mike Bousson is going to have to really, really fight for it. But all of this battling is costing them ground to the top 4 ahead.
Yeah, it is at the moment. But I think the question is, are they worried about that? I think that's the thing. I don't think they're too worried. Barry's not really worried about getting onto the back end of Simon Edwards here. There's going to be a nice little switcheroo.
Yeah. Well, I didn't know who was happy to be in front there, although Simon Edwards will just be happy to hold the lead for the time being, and it's not going to be too long before Paul LeMay and Georgie Gonzaga get in on the act. Now, what does Barry decide to do here? Does he decide to just sit back again and wait for the pit straight again?
Well, he hasn't really got a lot of option, has he? You know what I mean? He hasn't really got a lot of choice. It's a very difficult circuit. Unless he can get a good run up through Lukey and down into MG, he's not going to get an overtake done. It will be just nestling in where he is at this moment in time and using what he's been given here, because he hasn't got a lot of options other than that. It's quite, although it's flowing, it's still quite a tight circuit. So he needs to make sure that any moves he does with accuracy and does with precision. Otherwise, it could all go wrong for the pair of them. So he's better off now, like he has just done then, getting a better run out of MG. And this is where I expect James Barry to get this move done.
Yeah, well, if they start tossing, what will that mean for Paul LeMay and Jorge Gonzaga? they'll be wanting to get in on this if they can. We've got 4 laps to go at the end of this one, and Barry's going to go to the left-hand side as he did so previously. But what does Simon Edwards decide to do? Does he let him go, or does he just continue as he has been doing throughout the whole race, and it's the same as before?
Yeah, he's not letting him go, and I'm wondering if there's a difference in braking to lifting. And Edwards is probably lifted. I'm wondering if Barry's braking. I think that's the thing. We'll have a look and see if we can catch them both rear view going down into turn 1. Paul LeMay and Gonzaga having a nice little ding-dong. Buson and Clark, and also Glover and Michael LeMay are having a ding-dong as well. Gonzaga's just cleared Paul LeMay. Nope. Paul sends it back on the inside, coming into Honda as well there. So 2 little battles to keep an eye on here, Tom, and it's for 1st and 2nd, 3rd and 4th, and also 5th and 6th, and 7th and 8th are having a nice little battle.
It's nice to have battles all around the field, even with the size of the grid that we've got. Edwards and Barry are still nose to tail, so that'll be far from over. That is probably going to go right all the way to the checker flag. It could even be a drag race to the line. So we'll see how they get on here. Edwards has got Barry right on the tail. This is important as far as the championship is concerned, but there's less points up for grabs in the sprint race in comparison to the feature.
Yeah, there is, but he's still going to want to try and take a win if he can here. And we're going to be looking at Barry getting closer and closer and closer and closer. He pulls out on us now. Edwards again gives him a little bit of a squeeze against the line. Edwards been so strong on this in turn 1. You can see it's a lift for both. But Edwards just carries more speed. Paul LeMay manages to hold on from Gonzaga. Clark manages to hold on. I think Buson made a mistake because he's dropped back 2.85 seconds at the moment. 2 laps to go in this sprint race. James Barry's now having another go. He's going to try and look up the inside, but Edwards is going to have that inside line. Coming into Honda, of course. And he does do that. Barry's going to try to cut back. I think Edwards is too wily for that. Edwards will probably just cover him off going in that run now through turn 7 and up into Hayshed.
So what options does James Barry have now then? Because he's only got a few laps to go, and he's got to maybe try and, he's got to get a strong exit if he's going to get through ahead of Simon Edwards over the line. We'll look to see what he tries to do, and it's the same between Paul LeMay and Jorge Gonzaga. And it looks like the battle between Clark and Buson has reached its conclusion.
Yeah,
I think we're beginning to see a 4-way battle for the lead, James.
Yeah, Buson made a mistake, I think, and that's why that's ended up like that. James Barry going into MG went in a little bit hot. He's going to try and rely on that draft to pull him forward now. Paul LeMay coming at the same time to try and get involved with this, as is Gonzaga. We've got this one and one more. Barry did not go round MG nicely. That's why he lost so much time. But even the gap to Paul LeMay's come down to a second now. And Paul trying to close in as much as possible. He can do with Barry, just giving Edwards a little bit more grief for a little bit longer, just so we can close that gap up here over, what's it going to be down, coming down below 7 tenths at the moment.
You can see the top 4 all in your picture. Is Edwards going to take another victory? Should be important for his championship chances. Or does James Barry have something up his sleeve to snatch it away from him? I can't remember the last time Paul LeMay and Jorge Gonzaga had won, but I'm sure they'll give it a good old go between now and the checker flag. And now Edwards will just want to play it easy at the moment, but he needs to be aware that Barry could be within striking range to get through just as they go over the line to complete this race.
Yeah, I think that's going to be the run. It'll be this run out. It'll be the final run. I don't think he's going to be quite close enough at the moment, Barry. The draft's going to pull him in, no doubt about it, but I don't know if he's going to have enough. I think it's probably going to be... He's got to come down very, very quickly. Final lap of the race now. Edwards looks like he's going to take this win. He's got it already. I think it's going to be a 2.5 tenth draft run. It is. And Barry loses time around turn 1, gets out to a half a second. Paul LeMay closes in on Barry. So if Barry's not careful, he could be in a battle with Paul LeMay that he might just not want to be in here on this final lap.
Barry will need to be tucked up behind Edwards coming out of turn 11, probably within... at the very minimum, no more than 3 tenths, but he's got it under that now, but he needs to stay within it and just be tucked up underneath the gearbox. of his championship rival. And now they're going through Siberia for the last time. Does Barry get a nice exit here?
Not amazing. Not amazing, I've got to be honest. Up through Hayshed, through Lukey Heights are going to go. We're looking back at Barry. Barry seems to be a little bit quicker than Edwards in this middle section. What's MG going to be like for the pair of them? Edwards locks it in tight. Barry gets that flow. Now it's going to be this run down to the line. It's going to be here, near or nowhere for James Barry. And at the moment, he's going to be coming one side or another. So we're going to keep an eye and think Edwards is going to take him the wrong way. And it looks like it is going to be Simon Edwards. I don't think Barry's going to get there. Edwards wraps up the win for the first race of this evening. What about Michael LeMay and Phil Mike Bousson and Michael LeMay, I should say. It looks like Mike Bousson is going to finish in front of Mr. LeMay, and he does. Jamie Bird comes over the line in ninth place, front row of the grid, and of course our very own Moving Matters machine in Colin Wynn will be on pole position for race number 2. So we'll have to see how Colin does here. He might, if he does what he's going to do last time, he might start from the pit lane for Colin Wynn, because he doesn't want to be on the front row. So, you know, let's see what happens there with Mr. Wynn. But we'll bring you up the results of the first race of this evening. And here we go now. Simon Edwards is your winner, with James Barry second, Paul LeMay third, George Gonzaga in fourth place, and then Paul Clark, Mike Bousson, Michael LeMay, Phil Glover, Jamie Bird and Colin Wynn. Let's have a quick chat with Mr. Phil Glover, who was in that first race, finished in 8th place. Phil, how was it out there?
Yeah, it was pretty hot.
It was good fun. You look like you enjoy yourself.
Yeah, I think I was actually. Yeah, wasn't too bad. I don't think I had any major offs. So yeah, where am I on the grid for this one?
You'll be on row 2, mate. 3rd place.
3rd place. Okay, well, yeah, not too much pressure being at the front. So yeah, we'll see how we get on.
You see, you go for a nice move around the outside of Colin Wynn through turn 2. That was big and brave.
Yeah, well, worth a go, isn't it?
Oh, mate, it's always worth a go in it. Let's be real about it. You've got to put all into it. Leave nothing on the racetrack, Phil. Give it your all in race number 2. Front row, 3rd place. How do you reckon you're going to
do? I'd say fair to middling. But let's be a little bit more ambitious. Let's see how we get on, eh?
Yeah. Go for the win, Phil. Go on. Make me very happy.
I'll try my best, mate.
All right, man. Catch up with you later.
Yeah.
That's our resident conversationalist, Mr. Phil Glover, who comes and joins us every single time here, in the middle and at the end of the race as well. We'll have a chat with him, no doubt, once again. Going to be tough for the likes of Colin Wynn, Jamie Bird and Phil Glover. Not quite on the pace, and they've got very quick guys behind them.
Absolutely so, and hopefully he'll pick it up in the feature race that is coming up in about a minute or so. At least we know who'll be on reverse grid pole. We're hoping that it'll be Colin Wynn. I'm sure he'll want to take an opportunity to actually fight it out with the top guys for as long as he can. But it is a longer race than what we had in the sprint.
Yeah, they've got 18 laps in this one. Let's have a look at the grid for race number 2. I don't know if Colin will take to the grid. Last time he was on the front row, he did not take to the. So we finished the warm-up session of a couple of minutes, and then we will be able to bring you up the grid for race number 2. Here we go. Colin Wynn is on pole. Jamie Bird, Phil Glover, 1, 2, 3. Michael LeMay, Mike Bousson, Paul Clark, George Gonzaga, Paul LeMay, James Barry, and Simon Edwards. And it looks like Colin may have taken the start at the moment. No, he's not on the front row at the moment. And no, he will probably not want to be on the front row either, but Colin, and he'll probably start from the pit lane unless he gets an encouragement from the guys to go on to the pole position slot for race number 2. But knowing Mr. Wynn, he might stay in the pit lane and out of the way. So keep an eye. Got about a minute and 10 seconds to go. He's got a 2-minute grid in time. So let's see what goes on here as well. Predictions for race number 2. Any winners? Oh, no, lights are going to be coming on. Colin Wynn in the pit lane. There you go. That's what I thought would happen. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it's Jamie Bird, unchallenged. Green, green, green. Uphill run for race number 2. And it is Jamie Bird. Got off the line. Phil Glover's off the line as well. Mike Buson's trying to look up the inside here. And race number 2 is well and truly on its way with Jamie Bird, Phil Glover, Mike Buson, Paul Clark, Gonzaga, Barry, LeMay and Edwards. Already, Barry up 3, Edwards up 2, Barry up 4 now as he goes up the inside of Mr. George Gonzaga. But at the moment, Jamie Bird leading the way with Phil Glover in second.
Yeah, so how long of a gap can Jamie Bird build up in the early stages? We can see that Buson is making a move on Glover before they get to Honda, although Glover will have the inside line on the exit, but it's the orange livery car that will have the high ground into Siberia. And so far, out of the top 3 at the end of race number 1, it is James Barry who is the highest out of all of them.
Yeah, he's up 4 places at the moment as Mr. Barry right at the beginning, but he's going to come up against a roadblock of Mr. Clark. And, well, Phil Glover's one side of the road, Clark's the other. There's nowhere for Barry to go. Clark's going to look at parking the car in the middle of the racetrack, which is what he did do. And literally stopped Mr. Barry going straight through just by putting the car into that one position. But Barry's not going to give up here. He's going to fight his way as much as possible. Clark's going to receive the draft off Glover in front. Now it's going to be how Paul does here. He's going to use that draft as much as possible. Barry's going to use the draft. He's going to try and go round the outside here. He's got the draft off Phil Glover. He's going to cut back in again is Barry, and he did get Paul Clark there, and that was draft assisted overtake down the front stretch.
Yeah, that was an easy overtake for Gonzaga to go through at Dewan, and he'll be looking to make a move. He's behind Simon Edwards now, and Edwards is running in 6th position behind Paul Clark. James Barry is making his own pass on Phil Glover, heading towards Honda for the 2nd time in this race.
Oh.
And there's contact there between Edwards and
it's 3
Paul
wide.
Clark.
4 wide. What the Jesus nits went on there? Oh. Oh, man. That was just, I can tell you what that was. That was a big old dose of netcode between the two there, and unfortunately that is exactly how it turned out for them guys there as well. Big old dose of netcode between Paul Clark and Simon Edwards. Shot the cars off in different directions. Nobody could stop, and unfortunately, well, it was just a calamity over situation going on there after, wasn't it, Tom, on that one?
Yeah, and that's allowed the LeMays to go through. Paul LeMay up to 3rd place, Michael and LeMay in 5th position. And I think we could well see a different race winner to what we predicted at the start.
Yeah, we've got Edwards and Glover. I'm sure Phil's not going to hold him up too much after he got caught up in that incident. So Edwards is probably going to dive to the inside, which is what he did do. Barry's down the road. How's Barry's steering situation? He's got to have had damage, but his steering looks A-OK at this moment in time. Paul Clark into the pit lane. He's not A-OK. Gonzaga and LeMay are also side by side. LeMay's going to really send out the inside there. Big lock up from one of the guys in front. I think that was Jamie Bird hanging on from Mike Buson. And it's going to be a Bird, Buson, LeMay, Gonzaga battle with Michael LeMay sitting in 5th at this moment in time here. And we've got 15 laps remaining, so I'm not going to count your chickens. But it looks like a bit of a hard task for Edwards and Barry to get back up near the front.
Yeah, well, they've got more time to do it in this one than they did in the sprint, and it's a good job that the incident happened early on in the race. So there's plenty of time. You can just see someone's locking up there almost into the right-hander of turn 10. They got away with it, and now Mike Buson will be all over the back of Jamie Bird heading onto the pit straight. Barry and Edwards are 7th and 8th right now. It won't be too long, I don't think, before they get onto the rear of Colin Wynn.
Yeah, I don't think Colin really cares. He's started from the pit lane. He's up 5 places, and he's sitting in 6th. So it's going to be what's going to happen with Barry and Edwards behind that. Bird, Buson, and LeMay are coming very close together. Gonzaga's in there as well. So let's see if Jamie Bird can wrap up a win here, or is Mike Buson going to get it take it away with him? LeMay in the background, Gonzaga there, and another LeMay, which is Michael LeMay, sitting in 5th place. Buson's going to try and run around the outside. Bird's going to have the inside, not going to get the job done into Honda this time around. Lock up from Paul LeMay. Now it's going to be 4 cars fighting it out here, and Gonzaga doing a great job.
Yeah. So on that last lap, James Barry did a 24.8 and Simon Edwards a 24.6. So it looks like Barry's car is handling fine, but not as optimal as he would have liked it to be. But now we're looking at Gonzaga, who's closing all the time on Paul LeMay, and the top 4 pretty much are all stuck together like glue. LeMay looking to the outside of Buson into turn number 10, and he's not able to get through that time around. Paul Clark is still in the race for your information, but he's a long way off this bunch, so he's probably just going to try and go for a fastest up or something. But Barry and Edwards are 2 men on a mission, and hopefully won't be too long before they get close to Colin Wynn to get moves done.
Yeah, they're still quite a long way back from this group at the front. They're over 9 and 10 seconds back here. I'm wondering whether or not this could be Simon Edwards' drop round, or one of. Bit of a mission to try and get that amount of time with these guys at the front, especially with Bird, Buson, LeMay, Gonzaga. Neither of them are slow. They're not massively slow compared to the guys behind. 125s, 125s to a 124.9, 124.4. So, however, if they do that, that is not going to help anybody, as they're going to lose. Well, they haven't lost that much of a time, to be blatantly honest. However, Gonzaga's going to lose a bunch of time running off the side of the circuit there, unfortunately for him. Now, Michael LeMay in behind his brother behind Buson, and it looks like it could be all for Jamie Bird to either take the win or throw it away here.
Yeah, I'm getting tripped up between the LeMays now, because it's difficult for me to recognise who's is what. But yeah, that was a clumsy overtake into Honda on Buson from one of the LeMays. I couldn't tell which LeMay it was because
Paul.
You got 2 right in. Was it Paul LeMay? Yeah. It was a clumsy overtake, and actually surprised he didn't allow him back through, because he was not ahead at the corner, and I think he gained a position by running into him. But now we've got a battle for the lead here between Jamie Bird, Paul LeMay, Mike Buson and Michael LeMay.
Yeah, you can recognise the LeMays apart, and I'll tell you how. On the front there, Paul LeMay's car is blue on the front wheel arches. Michael LeMay's are red. So Paul's wheel arches are blue, Michael's are red. So Paul's in the front, Michael's at the back. Buson and Bird are in the middle. Just as we said about it could be Jamie Bird's win and not to go and throw it away. Well, unfortunately for Bird, he did this. And onto the grass he goes and over the gravel, hops that SR10. And now he's got to try and get the car stopped for the corner, which he manages to do. And that's why he lost the lead of the race. So, sorry, Jamie Bird. I did say that you were doing well, but yeah, sorry if that happened.
Yeah, apologies for the commentator's jinx there, Jamie. But carry on as we are. Barry and Edwards have got the gap down to 6 seconds thanks to the shenanigans involving the top 4. I would definitely say it's game on for the win.
Yeah, I think so. LeMay, Buson, LeMay, Bird, and is he just gone? He's kind of made another mistake.
Same place as well. The same corner where he's gone wide, and now he's lost the position to Gonzaga.
Yeah, now we've got Wynn is feeling the heat here. As there is Barry, there is Edwards in behind. We've got 12 laps remaining. How much hold-up can Colin Wynn do if he wants to try and do any here? Or is he just going to let these guys go? That would be the question. And it looks like the one who's going to go is going to be Edwards. Edwards is going to go over Barry. Got the move done. And great job from Simon Edwards. Now he's got Colin Wynn for company. What is Colin going to be able to do here? Is he going to be able to hold him up in any shape or form? Edwards is going to try that inside line, which will be the outside for into Honda. Barry's going to go. Oh, don't send it through wide. Don't send it wide. Oh, dear. Oh, Colin.
Yeah, well, Edwards was could have preempted that, to be fair. I think he knew that Colin was going to outbrake himself, and that was exactly what happened. So Edwards is now back behind Barry again, but at least they've got Win out of the way. And the next driver they're going to be chasing is Jamie Bird, who's running in 5th position. But back to the front, Paul LeMay is leading the way ahead of Mike Bousson and Michael LeMay in 3rd place. And yeah, I think a lot is going to change between now and the checker flag. Got 11 laps to go after this.
Yeah, we've got 11 to go. And Paul LeMay's being able to run his race with Bousson. I don't think Mike's silly enough to go and challenge unless he can really clear. He's got the leaders coming up behind him thick and fast here. I would not. I would sit past. I would honestly, for the next 9 laps maybe, sit behind Paul LeMay and let him run his line. Let him run his line, let him go fast, and let him pull ourselves forward. Edwards has not got Barry this time into turn 1, but that's what I would do. I would allow Paul LeMay to run that line. Let's open up a gap. Let's just get away. That would be my main concern here.
Well, Edwards is on the tail of Barry, but he's also going to get onto the tail of Bird as well. So does Edwards send it into Honda? Here we go, look. Up the inside, although Barry reads it. He's made contact with Bird. Bird just doesn't see him, does he?
I don't know if Bird does. What is Bird supposed to be seeing? The car that's not even there. I don't understand that. What is Bird supposed to be seeing?
I mean, Barry was alongside, but I don't know whether...
Never in a month of Sundays was he alongside. If his front ends touch Bird's rear tyre like that, he ain't alongside. That is not tyre-to-tyre overlap to make sure that you've even warranted being given room there. I don't often go and say stuff about overtakes, but that was not alongside. that for me wasn't.
Well, it was within a car's length alongside, that's all I would say. But I think when a car is alongside, within a car's length like that, they are entitled to a little bit more space. And I just think Jamie Bird just turned in a little bit too late on James Barry when he knew when he was about to come through.
There's questions for me. One of the questions would be, where is Bird supposed to go? Because he's taking his line. I don't.
Well, I mean, Jamie Bird misses the apex. James Barry didn't, and I think when Barry was within the car's length alongside, that's where I thought it was entitled to more space.
No, he wasn't alongside. Cannot have a front bumper to a rear wheel. That is not alongside. That's like saying you might as well stick the splitter alongside the car and say I'm entitled to space. Never in a month of Sundays. Front wheel to rear wheel overlap. Then you're alongside. Don't give me that front splitter just tucked up there. I can't see that's alongside. But that's just me, and it always has been me. And that's how I will sit here and say it. I see that completely. But we'll let the guys decide and see what they're going to do about it. Let's not get myself in trouble too much. I almost did it a little bit earlier on in another broadcast I did for somebody else. So I'll try and stay out of the steward's room. Edwards is going to try and go around the outside of turn 1. And he did get the turn 1 done and dusted there as well. So James Barry unfortunately loses that position to Simon Edwards. And it's whether or not Bousson's going to have a go at LeMay. But again, I would sit there until that said one more lap to remain in, and then I'd look at making a move.
Well, Mike Bousson's within 0.3 of Paul LeMay now. So this is an opportunity for him to just actually think about going for it rather soon, because I think it's inevitable that Simon Edwards and James Barry are going to get onto the tail of those two, although Simon Edwards has got 5 seconds to make up on the battle between Michael LeMay and Jorge Gonzaga. So we'll look to see how that plays out. But Bousson is happy to sit back behind LeMay for the time being. But does he decide to go for it on the pit straight to be... does he go through, or does he just sort of lift off the throttle as he just waits another lap and then another lap and then another lap? I don't know. I don't know what his strategy actually is.
Yeah, I think at the end of the day, personally, I would just wait. He's pulling him away. The ones that are fighting is Gonzaga and obviously Michael LeMay and Edwards and Barry. So let's let them carry on, and you just stay behind your positions, and that's about it. You know what I mean? At the end of the day. But I think, you know, you've got to be sensible about what you've got in front of you, what you've got coming at you behind. No, you need as much room and as much space as they can physically give you. It would be crazy battling each other.
Well, Buson is still there behind LeMay for the lead. There is separate battles happening now. We've got a battle for the lead, battle for third, and a battle for fifth between the championship contenders of Edwards and Barry. Now, Edwards, by winning the sprint race earlier, going back to the rule book, he got 25 points for that. And in this race, in the feature so far, if he was to finish where he is, he would get another 26, which would take it on to 51. And he had an instant-free race as well in the sprint, did Edwards. So I'd imagine he'll probably get another championship points to go with it.
Yeah, Buson nearly had a go at LeMay down into MG there. Almost had a go, did Mike Buson. Is he going to be able to get the... Looks like he's looking like he's going to be sitting in this place in that run down the start-finish line now. The man in that orange machine, he does pull out there, Mike Buson. I expected him to. Is he going to be looking at getting the move done over Paul LeMay? He's already been able to take the apex. He's already got the job done. And that is Mike Buson through with Paul LeMay in second. Gonzaga still got Michael LeMay. Edwards 5 seconds back. Still got Barry in there for company. So still 2, 1 and 2, 3 and 4 and 5 and 6. Not settled on this racetrack as of yet. But I think Mike taking the lead is great. But I still feel he's taking it a little bit too early.
Well, we'll see if he can build out enough of a gap, or whether he'll let Paul LeMay back through on the pit straight. And Simon Edwards would want to try and pull away from Barry if he can and start closing in on the battle for third place to better his point score for the round. But it's going to be quite difficult for him to do that from where he is at. And Colin Wynn holding seventh ahead of Phil Glover, and Paul Clark, who is well and truly on his own in ninth. Jamie Bird not going to be scoring, I don't think, because he's not finishing. Now, you just saw that Mike Buson took quite a wide line there and lifted off the throttle. I don't know if he did that deliberately to get the gap down underneath 2 turns to make it look plausible enough that he's going to try and battle the position, even though he's not genuinely battling for position. He's happy to let LeMay through, look. So he's recognised that he's taken the lead a little bit too soon and has allowed Paul LeMay to go back through again.
Now, I can guarantee if I interview Mike and ask him that question, I can guarantee he'll probably tell me he ain't that smart to figure that one out. So, you know, we'll pay attention and see what happens. Barry and Edwards swapped again and then swapped again down into turn one. So Barry's just not got the pace or not got the speed of Edwards to stay in front of him. It looks like Edwards just gets him back. Paul LeMay runs Buson very, very wide. Gonzaga and Michael LeMay are also in their own little battle. So Paul sends Buson in through Honda in a very, very deep way there. In fact, he held the inside and kind of wouldn't allow Mike to turn as of yet until he'd hit the apex.
Now, these two are settling down a little bit now. LeMay and Buson, I don't know how often they're going to be swapping places on the pit straight. And it's the same with Gonzaga and LeMay. In fact, I don't think they swap positions that much anyway, those two. But I'm sure they'll want to get onto the tail of the two that are fighting for the race lead, because you never know what could happen. If these two come together on a corner like Honda or somewhere like that, that's going to change the complexion of the race massively.
Yeah, I do agree, but I don't think it's going to be this time around. I think it's going to come from here. Whether or not Barry's going to hold or be able to clear Edwards, or if he's got damage on his car that won't allow him to get that move done and stay done, I suppose, would be the question. Barry's got on the outside again. We know Edwards is going to be hard on the brakes. Barry's got a brake there. Edwards may have even touched the brakes himself to get that car slowed down. It's normally a lift for Edwards, but he broke as well. Round turn one, and it is what it is. I just don't know if Barry can hold on to Edwards at this moment in time.
Well, you can just see the dice now between those two, but all of this is costing him ground to Gonzaga and LeMay. And I think they're consigned to the fact that they're fighting over 5th and 6th in this one. And it's just a matter of, can they keep it clean between now and the checkered flag? Because if they have incidents not gone against them, it probably did in that incident involving Colin Wynn and who was the other one that was involved in it? I think it was Paul Clark, wasn't it? Then, yeah, this can make all the difference in the championship come the end of the season. We go to Sebring next week, and then the season finale will be held at the Hungaroring. So we'll see how that plays out in after this one. The top 9 best scores, combined scores for each round, count towards the championship. So we'll wait and see whether this round does get applied for either driver or whether it won't.
Well, I think it could well do. We've got 15, so we've got this one and 3 more. Edwards goes to the other side of the circuit. Barry pulls out again. Edwards again is probably going to send it up on the inside. He is. Barry's touched the brakes again. Edwards dragged the brakes a little bit, but again, Edwards gets the job done over James Barry. It's like the wily old fox and the young buck, and these guys are having a good old little ding-dong, as are Buson and LeMay now, after getting separated for a little bit of about half a second and now back together once more. What actually is going on here? Because they're now side by side going into Honda.
Yeah, well, I think this could where it decides it, because it may feel that the drag race over the pit straight is not where they want to get it done there. Although Gonzaga is in front of Buson now, and I think Buson has made a horrible mistake.
Power too soon. Back end's going to go round. Yep, big puff of smoke from Buson. And he's now dropped himself down into 4th place behind Michael LeMay. 4 seconds up the road from these guys. It could be now down to Paul LeMay, and whether or not he's able to wrap it out for this win is Paul. And we'll have to keep an eye and see how he gets on. But it's going to be a Barry Edwards run again out of turn 11, out of turn 12, as these guys are going to be going on to lap 16. We've got 16, 17 and 18. We've got 3 more to go. And how is Barry going to do this now? He's clearly can't get past on that outside line. Tries again. Edwards gives him a squeeze again. Make sure he knows he's there. Edwards manages to hold on again through turn 2, and Edwards once more out in front here. There's just nothing Barry's able to do about Simon Edwards.
No, and I think he knows that the next corner, well, the next braking zone of Honda is where he could get moved on, but he needs to go to the inside, really. But that's what Edwards is doing. Edwards got the inside line into Honda, but he's going to miss the apex, and Paul Clark should be able to get all the traction out of there, but he's not able to do that.
Yeah, that's James Barry there, not Paul Clark. But
sorry, James Barry, my apologies.
That's all right. Paul Clark probably wishes he was in this battle, but unfortunately he's driving around somewhere completely on his own through this racetrack. So let's see what James is going to be able to do. I don't know if there's a lot he will be able to do here. I think it's going to be more if Edwards is going to make a mistake or not. I think at this moment in time, it's going to be very, very tough for James Barry to try and clear Simon Edwards. LeMay's out in front by 3 seconds. Buson's closing on Michael LeMay. And then Edwards and Barry, with only 1 and 1 more to go, is now we go again. Is this going to be Edwards? Is he going to be able to hold off from James Barry once more? There is Barry on the left-hand side. Just Edwards sends it out the inside again. Forces back. Oh! No.
The longer that battle had gone on with the way they went wheel to wheel down that pit straight, the more I felt, yeah, they're going to come together at some point. Yeah, I mean, it looks silly, but it's actually quite easy to do in that situation because it's just a split-second thing.
Yeah, I just wonder who's going to call on what way that's going to go as we go in through the stewards' booth for them to have a look at and see which way they want to go about that. I'd be interested to know if anybody even puts in a report on that one. But Paul LeMay up front, coming over the line. He's going to take Barney Barney's going to be waving, hopefully, not having a night off like he has done for the last few races. Nope, Barney's on the right-hand side. Final lap of the race. Final lap for this man to try and clear Michael LeMay. Was up the front, did Mike Bousson. Chance of the win. Couldn't quite get the win after making a mistake now, of course, for Mike. So he's now battling for the podium. Can he get the podium off Michael LeMay, do we think?
Well, he's got one genuine opportunity to do it out, really, and that's that Honda B. He needs a strong exit out of this sweeping left-hander before they get to the Honda Hub, and he's nowhere near close enough to the challenge unless he makes an absolute dive bomb of it, which he's not going to do because he's not that type of driver that we've seen before. And the next one is going to be at MG, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. That'll be the next one if he can get that place. It will be. In through Siberia we go now, up through turn 7, the left-hander. Then we're going to go to the right-hander through the Hayshed, and then up through Lukey Heights. It depends on how Michael takes his next set of corners. It's dependent on how Bousson's going to be able to do anything, if he's going to be able to do anything. Not going to be able to do anything. LeMay's going to have that inside line, and all the while, this man, again, taking a victory. Stellar job from Paul. Took a podium last time out in race number 1. Got a podium in the feature race, and now he's gone one more. Paul LeMay takes the victory here this evening. Great job from him. Mr. Gonzaga has got a podium and put himself in second place, and it was Michael LeMay. So it's the LeMay 1 and 3 here this evening. Great job from them as Simon Edwards comes over the line behind James Barry, Colin Wynn, and then Phil Glover. Be interesting to know what happened to actually Phil here. He had a moment here. Exactly where Jamie Bird has had his problems all evening. Mind you, not a massive moment for Phil, so how did he end up losing quite a few positions? Hold on. Loses.
Does he have...
No, he loses. He got caught up in that incident at the beginning, didn't he? There he is.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's how he lost that one. So there we go. As we're just waiting for Paul Clark to come over the line. There he is. Probably not going to be overly happy with his evening of racing. But let's have a run through of the results. Paul LeMay in first, with George Gonzaga in second. Michael LeMay, so LeMay 1 and 3 here this evening. So well done to them guys in third. And Mike Bousson fourth, James Barry fifth, Simon Edwards sixth, Colin Wynn in seventh, Phil Glover 8th, Paul Clark in 9th, Jamie Bird down in 10th, who did not finish the race. Had a bit of a rough one, did Jamie, after obviously being up near the front. The final nail in the coffin for Mr. Bird was this one. And that's, of course, where he goes round, and then it looks like Barry got a push from Edwards, and Edwards went into Bird. But it also looks like Jamie Bird was assisted. Yeah. But there we go. Let's see the situation. Let's have a chat. It don't matter anyway, because neither of them won, and the win was taken by Mr. Paul LeMay. Paul, you won.
Yeah, it's good, isn't it, mate? About time.
Hey, check that one out,
Yeah.
buddy.
Yeah, no, I'm happy with that, mate. I've really Bousson pushed me all the way, and yeah, I was struggling there with tyres, and it was spinning up out of corners and all sorts. But yeah, I managed to keep it together in the end.
Yeah, you did. Took the victory there as well. That was a tough race, wasn't it?
Oh, yeah, super tough. Yeah, it really was. What do you think to the starts, though, mate? Are they getting better?
The fact that you're going in the right direction, mate. That's all I'm putting it down to.
Yeah, that'll do, mate. That'll do. Yeah, we'll go with that. I'll
Mate,
take that.
Yeah, you're going in the right direction. That's all, and you're moving. So I'm just pleased that will do for me, mate. You don't really have to do a lot else. Listen, though, I am worried. Talking about starts, we're going to Blinking Sebring next week.
Oh no, the bogey track, mate. The bogey track. Oh, mate, I've been practicing starts all week.
Have you?
Yeah, and I've been trying to use the double clutch, and I still can't get it quite right. But everybody else seems to get off the line really well, and it's always me that's crap.
I don't know. Your brother had a rough one in race 1, mate.
Yeah, he said he went backwards off the start. Yeah, but yeah, we got there anyway, mate.
Yeah, you definitely did, fella. And you won, so that's all that matters. And Mike did actually make a boo-boo on his own as well, bless him. But
Yeah, I saw him.
But you did take a victory there, mate, so well done for you. Anyone you want to shout out before we let you go?
Yeah, big brother for third place.
I know, I'm looking forward to talking to him in a minute.
That's if he speaks to you, mate.
He's in the waiting room, mate.
Oh, okay, mate. All right. Yeah, no, shout out to him.
Great job there. Well, Paul, go practice it, mate, because we've got that dreaded Sebring next week.
I will, mate. Don't you worry, I will.
Take care, bud.
Cheers, mate. Catch you later. Bye.
And next up in second place was Mr. Jorge Gonzaga. Good evening, dear sir. How are you?
Very, very happy. Yeah, it's been a while, man.
It has been, dude. How you been?
Oh, it's been good. It's been good. You know, like always trying to get to the podium, but always missing that little bit. And today, I guess luck was on my side.
Oh, mate, there was a lot of things going on. But listen, you had a nice little battle in that feature race, didn't you? You and Michael were battling away quite nicely for third and fourth at one point.
Yeah. I knew I had to save the tires, so I was trying to approach with caution, and I took a gamble and I went with short gears. So I knew I couldn't take him on the straights. So, but I knew I was faster on the rest of the circuit. So I knew it was that hairpin just before T4. That was my opportunity. So I was biding my time not to spend too much tires, because the tire consumption and tire heat in this track is insane. It was the biggest factor on the end of the race. The car was sliding all over the place. I was just sliding down. I didn't even bother to try to catch pole, because I would just burn my tires and probably spin. So yeah, it was good. It was good.
Yeah, it was good, man. I loved it. I thought it was great from me up here in the booth anyway. Listen, dude, when are we going to see Mr. Gonzaga at the top of the championship?
Well, come on, I'm on P4 on the championship.
I'm giving you all the strength in the world, mate, and all the love in the world. You know that. You know I would normally. I'm waiting to push George for his first championship.
No, well, I think Simon, Luke, and James need to get out of the competition for that to happen. But who knows, man? I've been practicing. Like P4 is already a massive achievement. I really wanted to finish ahead of Mike for the championship. That's always my goal. Like, I don't care about the win. I just want to beat Mike. Pretty much, that's kind of the goal for the whole championship. And today was really good for that. Yeah. But I don't know. Maybe one day. I'll keep practicing. Don't worry.
Mate, I look forward to seeing you at the top of that championship, mate. To be honest, and you don't have to worry too much about Mike. He makes mistakes all on his own. So he costs himself the championship 9 out of 10 times throughout the season. Bless him. But there we go. Listen, George. Anyone you want to shout out before we let you go, bud?
Oh, so many people. It's been a while. So first of all, Paul and Mike LeMay, like Michael, I think is the first time he's on the podium. So really congratulations for him. Great podium. To my teammate James, he's been doing one heck of a season, not just on this championship, but on the officials as well. 3 times champion. The guy needs a recognition. Everyone on the insert name team, and of course you, James. You and the team, JPBroadcasting, like you guys are super awesome. And yeah, I think that's pretty much, and everyone else that I probably forgot, but everyone on this community, everyone is amazing. The admins, everyone. So yeah,
awesome.
Shout out to all of them.
Awesome stuff. Well, thank you very much for your kind words there, Mr. Gonzaga, and I look forward to seeing you next week at Sebring.
Yeah, I will try for that. Yeah.
All right, man. Take care.
Cheers. Bye.
Bye. And next up, we're going to give the man some props here as well. For as long as I can remember, and I've been here a while, if I'm not wrong, this might actually be this man's first podium, unless I'm mistaken. But let's give him a round of applause. A lot of love here, up here in the booth as well. Mr. Michael LeMay. Michael, welcome in, buddy. Well done for you, and congratulations on your podium.
Imagine it is my first podium.
It is, isn't it?
Yep.
Oh, well done, dude. How was that out there?
I just benefited from other people's mistakes, basically. Just kept it on the black stuff.
Yeah, I think that was basically all you got to do. But you had a nice little battle with George. You had a nice little battle with Mike at the end. You held your own as well. Yep. Not too bad.
No, not too bad. But I think, I just struggle with the whole thing. But so, yeah, with the one and only podium.
Hey, Mike, it don't matter how they come, mate.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I mean? You've got to be on the race circuit to actually get a podium. So if you don't finish, you ain't getting one. But you've managed it, and you managed to keep that third place.
Yeah, I'm pleased with it. Really am.
I think I'm going to put a message into Darryl to see if he'll give you a certificate. Because you've been here a while, haven't you, Mike?
Yeah, I have.
Yeah, because I've been here. Oh, blimey! How long have I been here? 18 months? No, yeah. Maybe, possibly. So, So I think you should earn your first podium certificate, Michael. So you put it on your wall.
Thank you very much.
No worries, mate. I'll get hold of Darryl and see if I can get one made for you. But listen, dude, that was. What do we think then? Going into Sebring, you kind of. I do want to pick up on one thing though. You did go backwards off the start.
Yeah, both races backwards. I think I've caught it off my brother.
Yeah, I was going to say, has Paul been giving you tips on how to get the car off the line or something?
No, he's not. I just do it on my own.
Mate, don't listen to him in Sebring. That's his worst one for getting that car off the line.
Exactly.
Yeah, I definitely. I wouldn't be. Don't listen to Paul in Sebring. But well done, buddy. Congratulations on your first ever podium. So I was dead chuffed for you. Anyone you want to shout out before you let you go?
Yeah, my brother for giving me a decent setup.
All right, awesome stuff. Well, funny enough, he gave you a shout out for your first ever podium. So a lot of love going on. Oh man, you take care. See you next week. Don't learn off your brother for Sebring.
Right. Cheers. Bye.
Mate, bye.
Bye.
Oh, dearie me. We definitely don't want a Paul LeMay start coming out of Michael LeMay next week in Sebring. But we'll finish this off with a chat with Mr. Phil Glover, who got himself, he didn't get himself caught up. He ended up being caught up in an incident going into MG here as well with Paul Clark, Simon Edwards, and James Barry. But let's have a chat to him anyway. Phil, how was your race number 2, bud?
Yeah, well, we had good hopes, didn't we? But as you've rightly described, I think it's a rare incident for Simon. I think he missed his marker, and then he hit somebody else who hit me, I think. And so by the time I don't think it caused me any damage, to be honest. But by the time you kind of turn around and rejoined, you pretty much at the back. I mean, Simon kindly let me pass, but I knew it would only be a matter of a lap or two before he was back past again. I did have some fun trying, and I was making time up on Colin. Got it down to about 2.1 seconds from about 5, I think. And then I think I made some sort of mistake somewhere, and he got about 4 seconds back on me, and then I just couldn't make the time back up. So I enjoyed it.
I can tell you now, it was actually netcode between Simon Edwards and Paul Clark. Yeah, and it shot both of them forward at an absolute rapid rate of knots. I don't know if you can see the broadcast screen. You might be still sitting in your VR. But there was a bit of netcode between the two here, and it shot both of them off in an rapid rate of knots. But listen, dude, overall, not a bad evening. Going into Sebring next week, are you going to turn the old the feelings down coming out of the rig on that one? Because otherwise you're going to need some new teeth, mate.
Yeah, I was talking to Michael about that. Yeah, probably need to dial it down just a little bit. Not too much. I like to bounce around a little.
Yeah, but your teeth, Phil. Your teeth at Sebring are going to take a beating.
I need some of that netcode though that you've just talked about. The one that speeds you up. If you can sort that out for me. In fact, if you can give me a netcode button, I'll bind it, and that will definitely help.
All right, mate. Well, I don't know if that's a thing. I don't even know if I'm able to. So, mate, good luck to you on that one. Hey, that's what they say, mate. Apart from the wife, she tells me something completely different, Phil. But never mind there on that one, mate. Listen, dude, anyone you want to shout out before we let you go?
To the guy that's handing out the netcode, I guess.
I don't know if he hands out.
I want to make friends with him.
All right, mate. Well, listen, you have a good one, bud. And I'll catch up with you soon.
Yeah, see you, Sebring.
Take care, mate. Oh, dearie me. I got to love Phil Clark. Phil Glover is absolutely funny. Listen, Colin Wynn, why don't you take the grid on race number 2, you wussy? I would have loved to have seen you out there as well. Damn, Mr. Best Track. Says Ben Groves. B8 Phil, I pressed the accelerator. Yeah, it all went a little bit. It was very, very interesting here tonight, Tom, as well. And these guys had a great little go here.
Yep. Well, at least they haven't gone all like fisticuffs or anything like that after the incidents we've had, particularly the concertina we had at the Honda corner involving Phil Glover, Simon Edwards, Paul Clark, and who was the other one that was involved in that? Was it Colin Wynn who was involved in that? I can't exactly remember. But either way, they've all got on with it. They've not sort of, gone all off tilt, if that makes sense. I use that term when it comes to gaming, that side of things, with me and my friends. But they've all seemed to behave themselves and put on a really good couple of races. And I suppose if it's not been the best of rounds for them, at least that could be used as a drop score. So for Simon Edwards and for James Barry, it could be some form of reprieve for either driver.
Yeah, well, let's see how they get on and see whether or not it does work out to be their drop score. But that's going to bring it to an end here, guys, as well. Don't forget, later on, we've got 2 broadcasts coming up later on as well. If you're a bit of a night owl, at 10 to 2, you got the triple bypass going off for their final race in the Xfinity at Michigan. And then in 20 past 2, which would be myself and Dara Facker, we've got the NAS Virtual Modern Sports Car Championship. That's 60 minutes of VIR, so you can join us for that one. If you are a night owl and you do fancy coming along for some late night action, then come along and join us for that one. But listen, guys, that's going to drive it to the end now as well. Thank you so much to all of you for joining us. Don't forget, like, subscribe, turn on the bells. That would be absolutely amazing. But I've been James Parfitt. I've been alongside Tom Cairns. And as always, guys, take care. Have a great week. And you never know. Let's hope Paul LeMay gets off to start next week at Sebring. Take care.